Thoughts and Teens in Focus. I'm your host, Patricia Tring. And this is the month of May. We are celebrating mothers. We call this month of May Mother's Month. Yes, our mothers are supposed to be recognized. And I do believe as we have Women Month, we should have Mother's Month. Because without mothers, we would not be here. So today we are celebrating Mother's Day, Mother's Month. And I have a special guest. As you may know, she is my friend. She is a past friend. This is where you say the past come back again. And this is a friend that we from the same village, that is New Amsterdam, Berbice. And we haven't seen each other for years, so you could guess how long it is. And I'm not going to tell you my age. Guess my age. We were in the same community. We went to different schools. The school that I attend was Catholic school, which we call Prim and Proper. And she attended Mission Chapel School, which nobody wants to deal with the Mission Chapel students. But, you know, that was life and that was past, and we all are here now. And she is living now in the States. And it so happened that we happened to meet. And, you know, when we met, I had to be aware. She remembered me, and I did not remember her. But soon as she started to talk, I said, "It's not Joycelyn." And she said, "Yes." So, you know, that is what happens when you move away from your community, but it so happened that you were able to be recognized and able to come back together. So I asked her to be on my show to let us talk about motherhood, because we know what is motherhood back then. We know what parents, being a child to a parent, and then we had the experience. So we're going to share some of our experience, some of the times that we had as children and the times that we had to perform as mothers for our children. Good. So Agard, and she's going to tell us more about herself and introduce herself to us. Ms. Agard, we welcome you to Thoughts and Teens in Focus. This is a program. I know you're looking just like a tot or a teen, but we welcome you once again. So, hold on. Good. Are you on?
It was quite a reunion when we met after umpteen years, and I appreciate the fact that you saw it fit or thought me TV material that you've invited me to be on your show. We not only go back to being from the same country, we belong to the same organization, one of the same organization at present. We're both Lions. Even though she is, what do you call that?
I abscond.
No, it's not really absconding. When you come to the United States here, because of your work, which is priority over entertainment or socializing,
that's true.
You have to stay away from
the organization.
Or, well, you said abscond, just not be as involved as you would like to be, because work is priority. You need to work to live, to survive.
And the thing about it is, with me, is that not being in the organization, but because I am so into my organization and so many activities that is going on, that I'm not able to go to the Lions as I would like to, because being in the Lion is very good. And that is what I would like to be in. And as you invite me to be in your line, I don't know how many lines I could able to be in, because every friend of mine is a member of a Lion. So it is so complicated for me to really be in the Lions. But because of my organization, because of my television program, sometimes it's not convenient for me to be there. But it's good that we met at the Lions, and it's good that I was able to reach you there. And then she said, "Joycelyn," I said, "Wow." After so many years, it's good that we had that reunion at the Lion. But Joycelyn, let's talk about our childhood days before we go to motherhood. You know, your parents and your experience with your mother, and the way how the mother love was being handed down to you. Let's hear more about that.
My mom was a disciplinarian. She was what I would say a single mother, as they call them here today. Not that a single mother of 10 kids, she got children with different fathers. No. In those days, these guys, they had 2 and 3 different homes. Not living in all of them, living in one and visiting. My mother's home was the visiting home, where he visited every night. And of course, he was always there. But I didn't know. This is yeah, he still participated, but she brought us up more single-handedly than if he lived there with us. She worked, and when she got home, you just had to be in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. Homework is done. If you want to read one of the, as they call them, I call them crazy novels, the little
Comic books?
If it's anything other than a school book, you had to go outside and read by the lantern pole, the light from the lantern pole. Otherwise, they would take it away from you and destroy it.
And that is so true, because being there, I forgive my mother because I thought that they thought it was a stupid way of reading these comic books. But reading those books really helped open our vision, open our ideas. And so I think that they could not understand that we had to read. They thought only read your school book. But reading other books was giving you ideas how to develop yourself, how to be a lady, how to your moral values, because our school books was twirly and twisty were 2 screws.
Oh, yes. Definitely. Twirly and twisty were 2 screws, and Mr. Mike go to school on a bike. I mean, how much
Could we
get from that other than maybe the grammar?
Mm-hmm.
But education-wise, although coming from the West Indies, if you to compare a child, let's say of 8 from Guyana to a child of 8 over here in the United States or any other country, they're very wise and smart, maybe because they were not exposed to that much television. You had to sit and talk with your parents at home. So it was more parent-child interaction as opposed to watching the television and what was prepared for you instead of you preparing things for yourselves, like they mentoring you. I'm done.
Yes, the mentoring, because I remember at school, it was, and I always watch at the schools, the classes that they have in America. It was, we had to do spelling. We had to do tables. And you don't want to be known as the dunce child in the class. And because you will get your mouth licking from the teacher, plus you will get it from your parents. So it was absolutely that we had to focus and we had to be remembering things, and discipline was our how to sit, how to stand. That was really motherhood. You cannot be brawling. You have to be prim and proper.
As a matter of fact, she always imparted and knew that young ladies must be seen and not heard.
And I couldn't understand that parable.
Well, how I understood it is you had to be more subdued. And now that I'm grown, I found it a little suppressing because you were not allowed to voice your opinion openly.
That's it.
You had to restrain yourself from saying what you even though there's a conversation, interaction, you had to restrain yourself from what you would say. You had to think before you talk. As opposed to today, they're not only seen and heard, they're being read all over on the
Wherever you go.
yes, the Facebook and the, all these different medias that they have now available. There's
With information that should not be.
should not be there. The young people are selling themselves, exposing themselves unnecessarily, whereas we had to be
Covered.
very subjective to what you would say and how you would report yourself. You couldn't have your knees exposed. Now it's not only the knees. Pretty soon they might stop wearing clothes.
That is so true, because and if you know that since I was a child, because of not allowing myself to use my arms outside, I never want to wear an armless something. I always wanted to be covered, because it was always that ladies must always be a lady, and ladies must all be dressed properly.
And not a label. You had to be a lady and not a label, because as a label, you're there for everyone to see. But then, ladylike now, you have to speak quietly. You have to tuck your dress down. You had to, one of the things that my mom really insisted on was Exodus 20. Starting with verse 2, the Ten Commandments. She imparted that day and night. The first commandment, thou shalt love the Lord thy God, and that was her number one thing. Then she said, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. That was her second best thing. Number one, you honor God. Number two,
You honor your parents.
you honor your parents. And I think she actually lived that, because she she lived a good old age of 80. She was 80 years when she died. If she wasn't honoring them, I don't think she would have seen that many years of life here on this side.
May her soul rest in peace. These good old parents, good old days. Now, after we had all those experiences with ourselves and our parents as being a parent, a child to a parent, a child to our mother, we now become mothers, and we had to take the same values that we were given to our children. Had we not had that type of exposure with our parents and knowing to put your fingers on your lips, be quiet, shh, not a word said, be quiet. I'm speaking to you. There's only one woman in this house, and that's me.
Oh, yes, oh, yes.
I am the one who gave you life, and I will take the life out of you. So we had to be on our P's and our Q's, because nobody wants their life to be snapped out by their parents. So and that was a value. That was a value, because when we become mothers and parents, we were able to give those values over to our children, and even to be a little bit strict, and then we still will hold back and say, no, this wasn't right. But when you think about it, if the children today get that type of discipline, I mean, put aside the scolding, the corporal punishment, put aside that. But if we had that type of discipline to understand who we are and what we will be if we don't have this type of training, there would have been no prison officers, and there would be no policemen, because the type of training was to keep you and mold you. And especially seen in America here, how our young boys and young girls are just taking the jail, taking the prison as nothing. When you went to prison in our days, you are labeled for life.
That's right.
Nobody wants to deal with you. Nobody wants to beat you. Now it's just like an everyday thing. What are your views on that?
Well, today the kids, they actually are doing things so that they can be imprisoned. I don't know what it is they hope to gain from being there. But they would just commit crimes unnecessarily. Why are they snatching phones? Why are they taking things that does not belong to them? You cannot afford it? Then you don't have it. This is how we were brought up. You only had the things that you could have afforded in life. No matter what Mary or John next door had, if your mother couldn't afford that, you didn't have it. You just look and you longed for it. And that gives you an incentive. Of course, we didn't know it or look at it that way at that time, but it gives you an incentive in which to forge forward in your schooling so that, yes, oh, she has that. One day I'm going to have it. I'll buy it for myself. And so you went to school. You continued in school. Today it's more competitive. Oh, Mary has it. All I have to do is to go on the road and I can snatch it from somebody else and I can have it too. It's not peer pressure. It's more a competitive way of life that is going on now with the children today. And it's not it's not because of lack of training. No, the parents have tried. Because we know the way in which we were brought up. You have to be walking along this straight and narrow road. There were no two ways about things. It's either right or it's wrong. And to live in my house, even when my daughter, she was 19, 20, you had to do as I say, not as you would like to do. She said, oh, Mommy, someday I'm going to get my own house. When you get your house, darling, you do what you would like to do. But once you're living in here, I make the rules and I break the rules. I mean, it wasn't fair to say that I make and I break the rules, but
right.
It was the way. And I have no regrets from the way in which I trained her, along with her grandmother, who was deceased, her aunts, because she was a pretty smart kid. And she exhibits it right now because after going to Burbis High School and Bishop's High School, and then she went to Knox Boarding School, one of the top schools that is in Jamaica. She came out a very smart kid that she decided, oh, I don't want to work for anyone. I want to be independent. And she has opened her own business. It is struggling. Everything based on the economy right now is struggling. But whatever she's doing, she is doing it right because the others that have opened around her, after her and before her, have closed down. And she is still holding strong, maintaining her family from whatever she's doing, which is having a day spa within the Bedford-Stuyvesant area. It's called Hibiscus Day Spa. No, I'm not here to advertise that. I'm really here to talk about mothering, but I am so proud of what she has done or what she inculcated, what she took from me, that now she is a successful entrepreneur, business person.
And you see, Joycelyn, if it wasn't for the training and they put your finger on your lips and really kind of pig dance a fig for a jig, you would not have that opportunity to see that your daughter was able to come up in such a professional way, such an educational way, to know who she is,
Yes,
and what she would like to accomplish in her life. So, that is what we say of mothering. And that is why I say mothers should have a month to say this
celebration.
is celebration of mothers, because mothers They have to bring forth a baby. They have to bear the pain. They have to take care of that child. They have to make certain that they get the food. They have to get feelings for that baby.
Oh,
And
definitely.
most of all, they have to nurse that baby 24/7 and and take care of that child. So much that we have talking about mothers and mothering. Um, we are all community-minded person. You are a member of the Lions Club working in the community. And in your community, in your Lions community, you will have to deal with young people or to work with underprivileged people or to work with abuse or to assist. Um, I am mothering too. I mother children into moral values, to seek the moral values on my program in whatever I put out within the community. How would you express yourself within the community that the work that you're doing as a community person working in your organization?
Well, just as you said, being a Lion member, belonging to the Lions Club, their motto is, we serve. And by serving, they mean when there's a disaster, the Lions reach out to help, be it financially, or be it clothing, food, or whatever is needed, the Lions do reach out to help. Just as you said, being a Lion member, belonging to the Lions Club, their motto is, we serve. And by serving, they mean when there's a disaster, the Lions reach out to help, be it financially, or be it clothing, food, or whatever is needed, the Lions do reach out to help. Right now, they are even as a Lion member, I do volunteering services apart from my community work that I'm involved in. I go to Downstate Hospital, SUNY, they're in Clarkson, every Monday, and I volunteer, or they call it navigating, that I'm a navigator.
Yes, because it is so good to be involved in community volunteering or community projects for the community, to help other people. I think if more parents or more supporters come out and be involved with our youths, being involved with our elderly care, I think that we will have a better community. And one thing that I always say, we should use up more of the elderly. They have a wealth of knowledge that is untold, cannot be used. And if we use our elderly to help our young people, to give them that support, and not to degrade them, but to tell them ladylike way, gentleman way of doing things, how to be a gentleman and how to be a lady, as we may say, an officer and a gentleman, so or an officer and a lady. And if we can have that thing, especially parents who came from the Caribbean, because we know our values. And sometimes I wonder, why is it that they move away from their culture, from their values, and allow their children to be overpowered by the fascinating life of America? And I find it more happening in much of the people of color children, and not of the other race or thing. As I always say, I do believe that we were scattered from our culture, and when we disassembled, that we cannot be together to really know our culture. We have so much culture, we have so much churches, that we don't have a religion, or we don't have like the Jews or like the Indians, that they have their culture that they handed down from generation to generation. And one thing I want to say that about um, we not being educated about our culture, we not being educated about our business entrepreneur. When people of color get their education, they become a servant. When the other race get their education, they become an entrepreneur, they become their boss. If their parents are are baking bread, they take the education, but they become the manager of the bakery. So invent it start to develop. But we now we go and we work for people and we don't support our own. So there is where our culture and not having our mothers teaching our young people the culture, the moral values, and the self-esteem of developing themselves, of coming to be um, to be the person who they should be and how they should um, take control of their life and take control. If most parents, if our parents, our foreparents, or our parents come and put those values in place, I think that we would not be having so much of our children being gunned down or being in prison because it hurts to see your own people, people of color.
Mothers, have a happy, blessed Mother's Day.
Thank you, Joycelyn. And to all mothers, have a blessed and happy Mother's Day. And remember, Joycelyn is now one of our mothers for the month of May, and Tots and Teens Mothers. She is now honored as Tots and Teens Mothers of the Year, of the year. So we are honoring Mothers of the Year in each program that we have. We be having a mother on to honor them as Mother of the Year for the work that they do in the community, for their mother experience, for the love that they share with their children, and for being a part of Tots and Teens, is Tots and Teens Mother of the Year. Thank you very much, Joycelyn. Thank you very much, my friend, my villager, we are so much.
Too much to mention.
You join us once again when we have another mother, the Tots and Teens Mother of the Year, and you will able to join us and be happy that we are acknowledging mothers and make May month the month for mothers, and every day is Mother's Day. So not only one day, May 8th, but we Tots and Teens will hold our month as May month for mothers. So thank you once again for being, and thank you for being with me, Patricia Trim. I am a mother and a grandmother too. So please love me and wish me happy Mother's Day as I wish you happy Mother's Day to all mothers out there. I love you and God bless you.